Okay. Let's see this. I bet. Yeah. This would be day 2 of unscripted everyday content. I promise I will try to post something new every day. Take that back. I will post something new every day. Like today we got some good lighting. Got the same iPhone 10 camera. And I hear you guys, okay? I promise. We will get a new camera. Okay? And by we, I mean we will see. Okay? So to jump right into the topic, this came up this morning actually, right? I was interviewing for a performance job at a facility near my house, as a personal training, independent contract, performance coach, whatever you want to call it, right? Pretty much, if they hire me, I can work with the clients they give me, and if I work with their clients, they get a higher cut because it's their clients. But since I work there and I can use their facilities, I can use that to attract more clients of mine. And if they're coming from me, or if they're coming through me, I get a higher cut and they get a smaller cut, right? And for me, I think it's a good idea because I don't have any weightlifting or general population content, and I'm still adding some more therapeutic content, right? I only really have the on the field skill training, the higher intensity speed, plyometrics, jumping, change direction, yada, yada, yada. But if I have all 4 of those types of content on one page, that's a one-stop shop. And that's what I'm trying to market myself as, or that's what I'm trying to prove that I am, if that makes sense. But I'm optimistic, I mean, I'm pretty sure I got the job, or I am very sure I got the job. But one question that stood out the most from the interview, which it might be why I think I do have the job, in my hands now, because he asked me a hypothetical question of, Armin, if we gave you a 13-year-old volleyball athlete who's only played volleyball, she's never trained anything else, right? And we gave it to you for her first session of training, what would your first session look like with her? And I just explained to the guy, like, listen, I don't need to know anything about volleyball, right? Because to be honest, I don't know shit about it. I don't know any of the positions. I don't know the rules. None of that, right? However, the technical side or knowing the sport is half the battle with training. The second half is just, if we want to keep shit simple, which is the purpose of these videos, as long as you're working on someone's ability to start, accelerate, stop, decelerate, change direction, and your ability to connect all those together into a pattern, you're doing your job. Or that's, you know what I mean? Like, I don't need to know the technical side. I don't got to worry about that. I'm here purely off of a mechanical and movement standpoint. And, I said that first, and then I said to go a step further, the same framework I have for my football athletes, right? I would bring the same thing to her. I would just execute it a little bit differently, Like, for example, right? This is my framework for you guys. This is actually the second topic of this video, okay? If I had her and I followed, my system of things, it would go like this, right? First, an extreme isometric phase, right? So let's take a lunge, for example. I would have her hold that position for 1, 2, 3. If she's strong enough, maybe 4 to 5 minutes. Probably just 2 to 3 minutes, to be honest. All right. The next would be plyometrics, right? We go 2 forms. We go extensive and intensive plyometric, right? Extensive is jump roping, light skipping, hopping, for 1, 2 to 3 minutes. Intensive is your higher intensity jumps, right? These are your maximal effort vertical jumps, horizontal jumps. And then we go into deceleration, or for her case, landing, right? You could do the same thing, extensive, right? You could have her work on single leg landings just to get the muscles firing up and get her used to the posture that you want or that's mechanically the best for her. And then intensive, like you can go band accelerated, there's a lot of shit you can do. And then to finish, or the second to last thing would be some form of change of direction, right? Crossover stepping, shuffling patterns, rapid forward and backward movements. And if she looks pretty proficient with all those, you could find ways to pattern all them together, right? Like a shuffle to a jump, a crossover step to a crossover run, or whatever you want to do, right? Because from my perspective now, when I look at this, is I don't need to try to sound like, how do I put this? If I can't make shit simple for myself, then it won't be simple for who I'm explaining it to, which is the athlete or the person asking me the question or this content, right? And if you can't simplify it, that means you don't really understand it. That's free game right there, for real. That's free game. And that's where my perspective on all this changed when, I'm going to make a separate video about this, right? Where, when I first started learning this stuff, I started off with, biotensegrity. That's a biomechanical concept model. And then we get into like fascia, right? That's something to do with soft tissue or connective tissues in the body. I started off trying to learn complex shit and apply it to performance, which sounds about right, I want to be the smartest so I could be the best at this. But really what you realize is it's not about trying to sound smart. It's about, can you make that applicable and can you make it make sense? That's all. I mean, that's pretty much it. Because once it makes sense to you, that's when you can build your own system around it. And I'm no genius. I'm saying this today, but I promise you in a couple months, maybe a year, my system of thinking will change. But that's the purpose of this. That's all today. That's all, folks.